Good morning everybody. Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. It is the 31st of May, the last day of May. Where has that month gone? Unbelievable. But looking forward to flaming June. Lots of good things happen in June. For June, the lovely June that we have today. So on behalf of the People's Health Alliance, welcome to another wonderful session. This morning we're discussing resilience in lots of different forms, but kicking us off, not literally, is the beautiful Robyn. Good morning, Robyn.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so let's wake ourselves up. You can sit down doing this if you want, if you need to, and just take care. Listen to your own body. If anything feels uncomfortable, don't do it. Okay, so let's just find our feet first of all. Feel your feet on the ground, connecting to the earth, about shoulder width apart. And just allowing your arms to just gently drop to the sides of the body, palms facing towards the thighs. Imagine you've got a golden thread just pulling up from the crown, lengthening up through the spine, all the different vertebrae. And then just letting your knees just slightly soften, opening up through the lumbar region of the spine. Standing in what we call Wuji posture, standing meditation, effortless, gentleness. And then just bring your awareness to just underneath the balls of the feet, the kidney 1 point, also known as the bubbling spring. It's a lovely name for that part of the body. And just imagine that bubbling spring activated, just waking up through the channels in the body, activating the kidneys, waking up all through the body, all through the system, bubbling away through the legs, up through the torso, the shoulders, the back of the body, the arms, the neck, all the way up to the crown of the head. A bubbling, lovely awakening vibration. And then let's just gently start to make little bounces, just gently waking up through the body. If you need to do some deep breaths, please do. Otherwise, just some nice gentle breaths in and out of the nose. Oxygenating the blood, waking up the brain. Shaking through the hands, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, just lifting the shoulders. Nice and gently, first of all. And just gently letting the knees bend, tiny little bounces, like a toddler dance. Nice and gently, just pumping the fluids through the body. And then let's just stop. Notice how you feel. Come back into that stillness. You might feel movement in the stillness. And then we're just going to gently turn from our centre. Nice and gently. Imagine you've got a light going down through the crown of the head, down through the central channel, the central axis, and we're just turning from that centre. And it can be a slight turn, you don't need to turn too far. We never go past 70% of our maximum, but if you've got any challenges in the spine, any discs, vertebrae that might be bulging, or any kind of nerve damage, any injuries, then we don't go past 20% of your maximum, and that can change daily. So just tune into how you're feeling, be gentle, slowly waking the body up. And if you want to, you can just turn your head as well from side to side, looking behind you. But again, be mindful that if you're prone to dizziness, that might not be good. Keep safe while you're doing this. So waking up through the spine, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the hips, down through the knees, the ankles, through the feet. It not only wakes up the body, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So it brings in that relaxation response. So we can bring relaxation into the body, into the mind and the body. Very important to relax on a daily basis, just so the body can work more efficiently and in harmony with each other, all the organs. And then let's just slow it down. Slow it right down until we come to a standstill, and just allow your arms to flop to the sides. You might find that your arms feel a little bit longer. Let's take a deep breath in and just raise the arms up, absorbing that lovely energy from the earth, connecting to that beautiful bright energy from the sky. Breathe out as you bring that lovely sunshine into the body. All through the bones, the muscles, down through the feet. And then bring your arms to the sides of the body again. We're going to do the cross crawl, because I feel like I need waking up a bit more this evening. So let's get that brain working more efficiently, get the fluids flowing. So you can keep it really low, the legs, or if you feel a bit more energized, you can bring the elbow towards the knee, and on the opposite side. Just do what you can. Anything is better than nothing. Any movement is better than no movement. And breathe. And then we're going to do opposite hand to the opposite heel. So right hand, left heel on the ground, left heel, right hand, left heel, right heel on the ground. See, I haven't woken up yet. And smile. Smiling brings up them lovely endorphins. Smiling through the body. I always imagine people watching me, and that makes me laugh and smile. Thinking, oh, what is she doing? And then to the side, one hand to the side, the other leg to the side, tapping the foot, John Travolta movement. Crossing over the energies, waking up the whole body and the brain. And then let's just have a little walk or a march. And then slow it down again. Come into a standstill. Interlace the fingers if that's comfortable for you. Let's just wake up through the wrists. Just making some space between the arms and the body, underneath the arms. We don't want to close ourselves off. We want to get that chi moving nice and efficiently through the body. And then just bringing one elbow round to the front and then the other one. Waking up through the ribs. Just creating that space through the shoulder blades at the back. Bringing the hips in if that's comfortable. And again, you can keep it very low if that feels more comfortable, or you can just raise it up and really bring that stretch through the upper body. And then we're going to go the opposite way. Stretching across the chest, the upper thoracic, so we can get more of a breath through the body. Breathing in one side, breathing out the other side, just going at your own pace. And then bring that lower down again until we stop. Push down with the hands towards the earth, connecting to the earth again, connecting to the feet. Release the fingers. And we're going to do a movement called the lotus blossom, or the blossoming lotus. So we're just going to bring our hands towards each other, just underneath the lower abdomen, the navel. And imagine that you're just gathering the earth between the hands, bringing up that lovely earthly energy up through the center part of the body, and then the fingers turn up towards the sky. And then we're opening up to the sun. The lotus blossom opens. Let's gather some of that lovely radiant sunshine, warming, nourishing the bones and the blood, gathering that energy, bringing it down, all the way down through the channels again. We're just going to do a slight knee bend here, a slight squat. Now, if you've got any problems with your knees, you can keep a little bit higher, otherwise you can go lower, but we're not bending the back, we're keeping upright. The palms of the hands just resting above the knees. And then we're going to bounce up again, like we just sat on one of them bouncy balls, and come back up, penetrating the sky, reaching up to the sun, looking up if that's comfortable, gathering that lovely nourishment for the sun again, warming through the body, through the bones, really good for rheumatism, this one. Gathering the chi right through to the bone marrow, the bloods, and then back up again. Breathing in as we rise up, gather that radiant energy, nourishing, revitalizing, going right through to the bones and the blood. And just do one more, coming up, rising up, just like that lotus blossom, struggling up through the mud, and then coming out to the sky, and then coming back down. And this time we're just going to bring one hand on top of the other, and let us just go right into that lower dantian, the lower abdomen, the main energy center, and just send some of that radiant energy there as well. And then rub your hands together. Let's just have a little chi wash to wake us up a bit more. Imagine being at the seaside or mountain, fresh air, breathe it all in. Wake the eyes up. Smooth yourself down. Have a little shake out. And then come back to your heart. Acknowledge yourself. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Robyn. Invigorating, tingly, wakey. Feel brilliant. And I really love watching everybody. Hello, Helen.
I just wanted to say thank you because I did it in the sun as well. It was lovely.
I was just about to say, I can see everybody's little screens, and Helen was embracing the sun quite literally. I've taken a screenshot, which I'll send you later. And then June's smiley face when we did crosscrawl, because we like crosscrawl. So it's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Robyn.
Great.
And we'll see you at the end. And good morning, June. Welcome, June.
Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Well, we have done resilience before, I was just remembering. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to our friend Leah, who can't make these early morning things, but she did contribute on the previous resilience because she is the epitome of resilience in my book. She's incredible. She's got all sorts of challenges physically, but she's, as she keeps saying, she's still herself inside there, despite the fact that she's got these physical challenges. And she's been through a lot, and recently she's been through even a lot more. So I just wanted to say hi to her if she's watching this, and that, you know, we're still doing this for you, Leah. So yeah, I have a bit of stuff to go on. Remember last time we talked about skin brushing? Was it last time? Well, recently anyway, talked about skin brushing and how good that is for your skin. So I'm going to talk about the resilience of the skin. And I have got some blurb because I wrote a little thing for the newsletter. You might have seen it in the recent newsletter about kids and skin, and how what we see a lot of over the last few decades. I think it started when my kids were little in the 80s. All of a sudden there was sunscreen everywhere. When I was little, there was no such thing. And I grew up a long time ago. I was born in the 50s. They were busy spraying us with DDT then, mind you. But you know what? Resilience. We survived that, most of us. Some people got very poorly, but a lot of us managed to survive. But now there seems to be this fear of the sun, and it's not really a very good thing to be frightened of the sun. I know that this all kind of started when the ozone layer was getting thin and everyone felt the sun was getting stronger. It did feel like it was getting stronger back in the 80s. And it still does feel very strong when the clouds break away and the sun is beaming down on you. But we need the sun. We need the sun for lots of reasons, because it makes vitamin D in our skin, because it gets into our eyes and it lifts our mood. And there's been studies done on that. I haven't included that in here, but there was a doctor in York who's now in London, I think mostly these days, Dr. Damien Downing, if you want to look him up. He's actually done some research on the effects of daylight in the back of the eyes. And if we spend too much time indoors with artificial light, then that lowers our mood, and we just generally don't do so well. So then, you know, I think it was in the 90s perhaps that no, because this was before that. They brought in these different light bulbs, fluorescent light bulbs with a green tinge. I remember they tried them out in my school in the 60s. So, you know, they've been around a while. And there's full spectrum lighting. That's what Damien's talking about now as well. And so full spectrum lighting is a very interesting thing. If you're stuck indoors, you do need something to help you. So there's debates about that, about whether the daylight bulbs are that good. Those are blue light. And actually blue light off your computer isn't that great for you. This is why a lot of people go for the salt lamps, because they give off an orange glow to counteract the blue light. But back to skin. Okay, the skin is part of the excretory system and is part of the respiratory system as well, because it's connected in Chinese medicine to the lungs and the large intestine. So if the skin isn't allowed to breathe, the internal organs will most definitely be affected. So, you know, this is why we notice if you put lots of steroid creams on a child with eczema, then their lungs get affected and they end up with more asthma. And so once you start trying to heal the asthma, stuff tends to come out on the skin. So it's a bit of a bouncing thing back and forth. So they both have to be treated at the same time. So I used to give talks a lot to health visitors and to groups about, you know, children's health care. And I went to a family unit at one of the doctor's surgeries, and the health visitors there and the nurses there, they were all saying, oh yeah, we've noticed that after the children have their vaccinations, their skin flares up. But yeah, funny thing that. And then also they noticed with the asthma and the eczema, they have noticed the connection. But they haven't really recognized the internal need for balance and harmony. They just feel they have to deal with the symptoms. Western medicine is really good at dealing with symptoms. So I'm kind of here to say, please try and use, if you're going to put sunscreen on your kids, try and use more natural products, because there are those that are available, and try and steer away from ones that have got petrolatum or mineral oil jelly, or things like well, proprietary brands of things that we all very well know, Vaseline and things like that. People put that on their mouths. There was a research done in the 90s as well about personal care products. I think I've mentioned it before. I have got a sheet of all the things to avoid in your personal care products. It's pretty scary. I might have shared it already. I'm not sure. I can put it into the chat. But yeah, they've reckoned that the average woman who wears lipstick, which is possibly not us, but eats a full 50 pounds worth of lipstick in their lifetime. They ingest it because it's on their lips. Yeah. So you can imagine whatever's in that lipstick is going inside your system. So you owe it to yourself to check out your lipstick and your lip balms, because a lot of them have got mineral oil in them. And you don't really want that inside your body. You don't really want it on your skin either, because your body absorbs everything from the skin. This is how aromatherapy works. Am I right, Julie? This is how people get treatment from an aromatherapist. Now, this makes complete sense if you think about it. You're putting oils into a carrier and massaging people with those oils according to their particular personal needs. And they all have healing properties. Well, if you're putting like, apparently, again, I don't know why the number 50 keeps coming up, but in our regular everyday showering and bathing and so on and so forth, and the moisturizers and all the stuff that we put on our skin, we actually absorb about 50 different chemicals. So, I think this is my little, just say, please look at what you're putting on your kids. Sunscreen is sometimes a good idea, but really we want to let the kids' skin breathe. We want to let them absorb the vitamin D. And if you need to cover them up, if you're in a really hot place, excuse me, then you're going to put a light shirt over them to keep the sun's rays off them. Put hats on them, keep them under the trees, and when they've been in the water, get them out and just dry them off, because the water tends to magnify, like a little magnifying glass of the sun's rays on their skin. So be sensible. Don't just be reckless, and don't let the kids burn. That's not advisable either. But the skin is incredibly resilient. It heals itself in 7 days. It actually can repair itself. And people have got techniques. I haven't got those skills, but people have techniques whereby they can remove scars from your skin, because it's the body memory that just keeps on recreating the scar, because the skin thinks that needs to happen. So if you don't need a scar anymore, then it can be removed, not surgically, I mean, energetically. So I think on the Monday on the Mend that you had oats in the bath, very soothing for if you've had sunburn, and aloe vera. There's proprietary aloe vera gels, but you can just take an aloe vera leaf and put that on. It's quite sticky, but it's very cooling and soothing for burns of any kind. And lavender oil is also very good if you're not sensitive to it. Some people are. And these are some useful websites down here that I have found are very useful. Weston A. Price has got a vast array of stuff on things that are good for you and things that are not great for you. So that's really good. David Suzuki is a Canadian who I absolutely adore. He's an environmental campaigner trying to make sure that the environment is taken care of and that we're not poisoning the planet as well as ourselves. So he's got this dirty dozen cosmetic chemicals list on there, and arnica.org.uk, again, full of all sorts of useful natural advice for people. And yeah, I think that's about, oh, chamomile tea, forgot to mention. Yeah, chamomile tea is great for things like chicken pox. If your kids have chicken pox or any other spotty, rashy things, make up some chamomile tea and put that into the bath, because that is very soothing and cooling as well. And the reason oats is soothing, what we do with the oats is you put it into a stocking or a sock and run it under the tap, so you get the oat milk out of it. This was before oat milk was invented, mind you. Probably you could just slosh some ready-made oat milk in the bath these days. But before that happened, we squeezed the oats out, and so that you had the milk in the water, and it's very soothing and cooling. But the other thing to remember about running baths is to let the chlorine evaporate off the bath before you pop your children into it. So I would run the bath a little bit hotter, keep the kids away from it, obviously. You don't want them to burn themselves. Let it cool down to the right temperature, and then the chlorine will evaporate. And so that's always good advice. Plus, tepid bath, not cold bath. If you have frostbite, you put your hands under tepid water, not hot water. And the same with a sunburn. Tepid water is better than cold water, because it can shock the body a bit too much, especially little ones. So I think that's me done.
Thank you, June. There's a couple of things, as always, amazing, and I've taken down some information so I can share those email links when I send out the recording. But a couple of things made me laugh with the oats when I was researching for Monday on the Mend. It said maybe put them in some kind of muslin, otherwise they will get stuck in the plug hole.
You get bits, yeah, and the bits are all stuck to the child. And if you're putting aromatherapy oils in the bath, Julie is here, so she will maybe say more about that. But you want to mix the aromatherapy oils with some milk before you put it in the bath, so it emulsifies it. Otherwise, the oils float on the top and then get stuck to the skin as well. And you get, you can burn yourself with neat essential oils. They can be very strong.
And I saw your comment about Monday on the Mend, and it was quite interesting because a few of the websites I looked at about sunburn said cold, and I changed the word into cool because I wasn't sure about the cold, but they were, that was their opinion. So I'm glad you pointed out tepid as well, because that's a good word.
Yeah, tepid is good. Yeah, because it implies that it's comfortable for the body. It's like, it's more closer to your body temperature. But again, there's so much chlorine in the water.
Thank you. Thank you, Jude.
Okay,
a little test for everyone today if they want to join in. We've talked about, or I've demonstrated a few balance exercises before, and today we've got the option of doing it a little bit quite less challenging, or challenging if you like, but just to remind everyone why balance is so important. We lose our balance from the age of 30, although my balance has always been shocking. My dad could roller skate much better than I could. So I do try and work on my balance, and I do love yoga. But yes, we need balance for posture, strength, just everyday living, picking our groceries up off the floor and put them in a cupboard. We use balance all the time. So there is a standard test that's called the 4-point balance test. So if anybody would like to join in, please do so. So you need to stand. Just make sure you've got somewhere just to hold on if you need to, although you're not going to be, tightrope walking or anything like that. So you shouldn't need to. Just stay safe and join in if you want to. I'm just going to move my screen so you can see my feet, but I might have to keep bending down, so I apologise. So firstly, we're going to, can you see, everyone see my feet? I just have to move it back a bit. Can you see my toes? Can you see my toes? Great. So firstly, you need to just stand with your feet together. This is all you need to do. And believe me, some people can't do this. So it's just standing with the feet together. And you would hold this for about 10 seconds. Hopefully you can hear me if you can't see me. When you've done this for 10 seconds, without wobbling, without holding on, you've mastered this move. So then we can change. So if I turn sideways, you're going to split the feet. So the toes of one foot are going to come halfway up the other. And you're going to stand in this position. If you start to wobble or grab hold of something, that means you haven't quite mastered. So don't progress until you've mastered that position. You just hold this for 10 seconds. Just for the sake of time today, we're not going to hold for so long. I'm just going to show you the move. Then you're going to change feet. So the other foot is in front. And again, you're going to hold that for 10 seconds in future. The next move, we're going to have the feet so the toes meet the heel of the other foot. So this is the tight, can't even say it, tight rope walking. Easy for you to say. Okay, so your heel, your toes are behind the other heel. You're to stand in this position. Robyn's going to be brilliant at this, I know. Are you wobbling? Are you holding still? Again, 10 seconds and then change. And relax. So the last one of this set is a one leg balance. You can hold your leg up in any position that you prefer, the hardest being your hands across the chest. So either the leg in the front, out to the side, wherever you find comfortable, just hold that position. If you're in this position, you're a super warrior. Look at all these lovely wellbeing ladies, they can do it easy. They've been practicing, I think you've been practicing. And relax, change sides. Just hold that position for a bit longer. So the next round, if you've achieved all of those for 10 seconds and without wobbling, the next round you do exactly the same, but with a hip hinge. So if you just relax for 1 second. Back to the beginning where we had the feet together. All you'll do is just lean forward and stick the bottom behind you. You don't have to go all the way down, as far as you feel comfortable, looking straight ahead, hands either on the hips or by your sides. And relax. So that was your first one. The second one was the split feet. So the toes come halfway up that foot. And again, the hip hinge. Remember to breathe gently through all of these. It's always a good idea not to hold your breath. And relax, ease off. Let's change feet. Remember, these are only a few seconds today. Ideally, you'll be doing 10. And relax. One foot behind the other in a straight line, heels behind the toes. We got the way around, heels in front of the toes. Ease off, change feet. I wobbled then because I looked out the window. And relax. And then the last one will just come up onto one leg. And then if you want to, You can tip forward. You may remember from before, we had these on our previous recordings with the deadlift. So I'm just going to hold on so I can watch you and talk at the same time. So in the deadlift, the leg will go behind you. Do you remember we did those? So it doesn't matter if your foot is in, your leg is in front or behind, just where you feel comfortable. Okay, just come up to standing. So you can repeat this sequence again. We won't do it today, but the next round, you would take the head from side to side. So for example, on one leg, the head goes from that side to the other. And then again, if you really want to take it one step further, and we've done it before, make sure you've got something to hold on to just in case. We've closed our eyes. Well done. Well done, Maureen. It's really hard because as soon as you start moving the upper body, the lower body wobbles. So just one last thing today, and you've probably heard of this before, but it's quite interesting, is the Stork test. So you're going to hold the Stork position for as long as you can, and you're going to count how many seconds, and this will give you an idea if you're super fantastic or just need to practice. So when you're ready, let's try and squat down and talk at the same time. So one leg, they advise the knee, but I don't like putting any pressure on the knee, pushing the joint outwards. So you can either put your foot further down or higher up. Your hands stay on your hips, you face forwards and count. So keep going for as long as you want to. I'm going to relax off. Just hold that position for as long as you want. Looking at all of you, absolutely fantastic. If you can go above 30 seconds, you are excellent. Which you all are, because I can see you. When you're ready, just release. Release off, and then you can come back down and sit down. Well done. I thought it was just interesting, different to how you find your balance.
Should we try it on the other side just to see if it's different?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely do the other side. It was just because of time's sake.
Not now.
You in.
Yeah.
But yeah, try it and let me know. And
Okay.
what we'll do as we go on is we can just add a few more progressions.
Hey, wow.
But you were all great. And I think, look, Helen's still going. You sit down, Helen.
Super grounded. She's standing on the grass, isn't she? That's what it is. She's plugged in.
She was
I just
amazing.
wanted to do both sides.
Yeah, it feels unfinished. As soon as we're done, I'm going to go and do the other side.
Please do the other side now, just while I introduce the wonderful Maureen. Good morning, Maureen. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Good morning. I absolutely love that. And also, you're standing on one foot and closing eyes. I'm teaching to anyone and everyone. The children are loving it. It's a fantastic distraction for them. When they're getting a little bit hyper because maybe they've had too many sweets they shouldn't have had. And just saying to them, I bet you can't do this. And all of a sudden you've got their focus. And one mum with 2 children was so grateful because it gave them 5-10 minutes of peace whilst they tried to master it. And it just totally calmed down the whole system from going and getting into trouble and shouting and screaming and whatever. It just balanced them and brought them right down. So, and I'm teaching, so I'm going to be talking about anxiety. And it's also, I'm teaching people different things that we can do. Choice is better than no choice with anxiety. And I'm teaching people to do that. So as soon as you feel anxious come in, stand on one foot. And when you're ready, try closing your eyes, because that will change your whole thinking. It will help you to rebalance, because that's what we want to do. So yeah, anxiety. This morning, it reminded me, a very clever, wonderful guy, years ago. He's so cool. He's so calm. He don't get flustered, doesn't do anxious. And I actually asked him one day, when did you learn to not be? He said, well, what's the point of doing anxious? What's the point? What does it give you? And I'd never thought of it before. And it's like, so have a think now, because as human beings, we are driven to do anxiety. Just think right now, what does anxious give you? What does it do for you? And so I couldn't think of a good reason what it does for me. And everything I tried to come up with, because, you know, if you ask a question, you kind of want to come up with an answer. It's like, well, what does anxious give you? It helps me perform better. So you can hear in my tone, there's a load of doubt in there. It's like, no, it doesn't. What you do and how you put your thoughts and intentions into action, that makes you perform good, bad, or ugly. Anxiety doesn't. In fact, if anything, does it not detract from that? And it's like, yeah. And so I came to understanding, and it was a really great lesson for me. It's like, well, maybe I don't have to do anxious as much as I do. And so who taught me to be anxious? Because we talked about it. He said, who taught you to be anxious? Well, my mum. She was brilliant at it. Didn't do any good at all. And she smoked too much. And she was, you know, an awful lot of times she was really, really anxious and nervous. Didn't do anything for her at all. And even as a little child, I noticed that. I still copied her, because that's what we are as human beings. We're copying machines. And I asked him who taught him how to be relaxed and how to be anxiety free and comfortable. And he didn't know. And he had a life-changing experience where basically he was very ill, and they took away a big part of his lung. He said, and I think whilst in the hospital bed for months, thinking, what's the point? I'm just going to live my life as free as I can. And I thought, wow, yeah, because if you're having part of your lung taken away and you can't do anything about it, what is the point of having anxiety and worry? You're just thankful when you wake up. So got 7, because it's easy for us to remember things in sevens. 7, the magic number. So 7 step to having choice with your, so it's not telling people don't be anxious. It's telling people you've got a choice. What would you prefer? So if we want to choose to be anxiety free, which helps us function better. So it helps us think better, helps us more in the moment, be responsive and come up with great ideas or be able to deal with situations in that moment. And so first of all, awareness. Have an awareness of when it's creeping in, because it can be like a silent thief that's creeping into you to take away your peace, your joy, your ability to think straight, and even the ability to make you do daft things. Because as human beings, we've probably all said or done something that afterwards we later thought, why did I do that? And so anxiety can be the reason that we can make mistakes as well. So we want to have an awareness of when it's creeping in, then having a decision that I'm going to do something about it, a decision that I prefer not to do anxiety, I'm going to do something else. So just have a think now what that something else is for you. So think about when you're in your most relaxed, calm, happy, able to think, able to come up with ideas. That really, just think about when you're in that resourceful state. So let's call it the resourceful, happy state. So think about, yeah, I'd like to have more of that. Thank you very much. And make now the decision that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be more of that resourceful, happy self. That's my choice. Then we want to take some action. So we've got awareness, decision that we're going to get to our resourceful, happy self, and then action. Yes, I'm going to take action, because we can all write it on a list and put it away for another day. But let's take action, even if it's 5 seconds worth. And we can think of positive, think of 2 paths. We've got anxiety and all that goes with it on one path. And on the other path, we've got our being resourceful, happy, calm. And it is also healthier for us, for our blood pressure and for so many other things as well. So I want to think, get onto that positive path. So if we're on the path of anxiety, we want to step over on the positive path. Then step number 5, tell yourself, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay is a 2-letter word. It's a tiny word, but it means so much. And it means so much to your unconscious mind. It knows all the processes. So if I'm saying I'm okay, my body will start relaxing. My heart rate will get back to its normal, healthy balance. our thought process will be there ready for us to use in the right way. So just using that I'm okay is a real power. A lot of people use it without realizing how powerful it is. And that's all that needs I'm okay. Now, what we can do is tie into that okay. We can do it right now. Okay, mind and body. When I say okay, what I want you to do is to bring in the resourceful, happy me. Now, that's what I mean by I'm okay. It means bring that and let me operate from that script. Let's imagine we've got different scripts. And we can take a deep breath. Quite simple. Deep breath in and breathe out through the mouth. Even if we're in conflict with somebody, we're allowed to breathe. And if we're shallow breathing, that can send the body into all sorts of chaos. So no matter what, we are always allowed a deep breath and breathe out through your mouth. Now, a lot of people are very uncomfortable breathing. It's as though when big breaths and breathing out, it's as though they're fearful that people will hear them breathing out. How come? How come? We all can breathe out. And it's okay, because as human beings, we all actually do it. So if that's a discomfort for you, maybe put that on your little project list. I'm going to explore that, because everyone should be allowed to just and do that without any fear of judgment, without any fear of getting into trouble or whatever it might be. And then, so I'm okay, happy, resourceful self, breathe, smile, as was mentioned before. Yeah, put a smile on the face, because when you put a smile on, there's so much behind the scenes that are working that'll connect into your whole emotional system. And then sing. You can sing a happy song. It's a distraction. And as we know, we sing lots of things on this wonderful Wellbeing Wednesday. And every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. So even just that, which takes about 10 seconds, is mind changing. Now, when we're focused on anxiety, try and be anxious and sing. It's difficult. And so it's like, sing that song and try and be, you might find it's impossible. And that's the power of our mind. So when we're occupying our mind, standing on one leg, doing all the balance things, that's brilliant as well. Doing that with a smile on your face, it will be difficult to have anxiety thoughts. So there's so much that we can do. So have an awareness. So when it's rising up, awareness of whatever it is, because you know you, nobody knows you better than you do. Decision, no. Other people have conquered anxiety and do it very little. So that's your human rights. You've got a choice. There is no law that says you have to be anxious in the way that maybe you've learned to be, or life has designed you to be. For the rest of your life, you've got a choice. You can aim for being your resourceful, happy self. Think positive. Think, I'm okay. Whenever you need it, I'm okay. And in that moment, when you're taking the deep breath, get your mind in the moment to work out, what do you want in that moment? I'm okay. So it might be, yeah, I'm going to feel comfortable. I'm going to feel confident speaking up or asking for things or whatever it might be, and just choosing that different path. And take a deep breath, and maybe in our breath, have a gratitude. I'm glad to be happy, resourceful me. I'm grateful to be the resourceful me. I'm grateful. It's my choice to be the resourceful me. Now, there is a caveat to being anxiety-free and calm and relaxed and able to do what is possible in a beautiful, relaxed, confident way. Other people might not like it. How mad is that? So other people might not like you doing what's best for you. Why is that? Because as human beings, we are a complex race. And some people, we've talked about, be like me. If you like me, then we're okay, because people are more comfortable in and around people that are like themselves. So if they've learned how to do anxiety and worry really well, And there you are. You've worked on it really hard and you've mastered it. And now you're feeling you don't have those peaks, those rises of anxiety, and you've worked so hard to get there. They might not like it. But when you ask them, it's like, what would you prefer me do? Would you prefer me to be anxious, or would you prefer me to feel free, happy and relaxed? Now, unless they're a control freak and the bully, they should say, yeah, I want you to feel good about yourself. And so it's like, okay, would you let me teach you how to do it? And they'll either say yes or no. And a lot of people don't want to learn. It's like, even if that learning is going to be good for them. So there is a warning, becoming your best self. Some people might feel uncomfortable around it because it's like that reflection of them. So what they see that you have, they connect with that they haven't got or that they're not doing. And often in humans, rather than look at ourselves and think, okay, what can I do to achieve that? Who can I copy? Who can I learn from? People will just go, no, don't like you, and it's all your fault. So we've got to learn to be able to deal with that as well. But that's not the end of the story. We want to plant little seeds to be able to help them get to a really good, happy, healthy, and calm place. So think about your happy, resourceful self. Sing song, clapping the hands is very useful. Doing something, cross crawl, doing something that occupies your mind, that will take you away from the path of anxiety. So even just juggling and doing something, throwing something from right to left, just having a pen, throwing from right to left, can take your mind off that anxiety path. And then you can have a wonderful day, whether it's Wellbeing Wednesday day or any day at all. So there you go. Happy being okay, resourceful and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen, and thank you for the song. We did discuss.
I need to go to singing lessons one day.
Thank you.
Beautifully.
But did we speak about it last week? I think we did, when you said about bringing us back to being a child, and we should do it every day.
Yeah. In my mind, it's being the free 5-year-old that I was. So in my world, I was a 5-year-old in my mind where I was free. I was free to be me. I was relatively free from the rubbish of life. And I was able to just play out and enjoy playing out without any fear of judgment, it was wonderful. And even if we have 30 seconds of that every single day, then that will do us good. And when Robyn does that twisting, I just feel like that 5-year-old that is just, and even just doing that and in your mind thinking, yeah, I'm free like that 5-year-old me. It's amazing how it can recalibrate the mind and the body system, the emotional system. So even if you're anxious, dependent on where you are, you can just sway and just get your mind into that place. We can, as you know, we can get into shock and anxiety in a nanosecond, because something can happen that can trigger us, and we can get good at doing that. Well, we can also get good at doing it the other way. So we can get good at going from there to there. That is the logic of science. That is the logic of, yin and yang, etc. And so we can. And a lot of people will say, no, you can't do that. And that's because they've not got the experience of it. And one of the things that people don't understand is even if you've not experienced it, it doesn't mean it's not true. So there's a lot of things out there that people go, oh no. And it's like, have you tried it? No. Well, how do you know it's not true? And it's like, important. So an awful lot of people believe so much without having any evidence. And it's the stuff that's not good for them that is useful to ask them, have you any evidence? What if? So it's like, oh, you can't do that. How do you know? I've been told that. Who by? Might be a professional even, because, some professionals get things wrong. And it's like, okay, well, what if? What if? Who do we know? And bring people the evidence so that they can make their best choices. But yeah, going back to being a 5-year-old, we've got a load of children at the moment that are developing anxiety, that we want to help them now, and it'll help them for the rest of their lives. Give them tools, even, just the standing on one foot and balancing and telling themselves, I'm okay, and standing up tall, I'm okay. Up tall and straight is a confident pose. Let's teach all our children this now, and it will bear fruit for the rest of their lives. Just like the bad patterns that we all learn. Like, I learned anxiety from my mum, and for decades I did that. So had my mum said, oh, that right, I'm not going to do that anymore, and now I'm going to teach you because I've just learned how to do calm and resourceful, that is so much better. So I'll hang on to that so much more, and that would have helped me through the rest of my life. So yeah, let's help those little ones, teenagers and young people. Let's help everybody, but most importantly, the children.
Thank you, definitely. And it's never too late. And I think that's what you're all teaching everybody through Wellbeing Wednesday, is that we always have a chance to grow and improve, and we do have people that can help us. And just everybody here, the value that you give to everybody and the tools to take away from each session, I think is phenomenal.
And that's the beauty of Wellbeing Wednesday. I was working with a lady, I think she was 83, anxious all her life, and believed that that's it, dude. And very quickly taught her, and she looked 10 years younger, but she couldn't believe it. And that the longer you've had your problem, the more joyous you might be once you let it go and learn new ways. So it is never too late.
Never too late.
Well,
and sorry, June, do you want to speak?
I just wanted to say, I just don't know what I would have done without Wellbeing Wednesdays these last few months. Honest to God, it's been a lifeline for me every Wednesday morning to be able to do the exercises, to learn stuff, to talk to each other, to share, you know, having people listen to me is wonderful, but also I just feel so grounded every Wednesday after I've touched base with you guys, and it just lasts me the rest of the week. And by the time next Wednesday comes, I'm going, oh, thank goodness it's Wellbeing Wednesday again. Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's so lovely. We're so grateful to have you.
Right.
Sorry, Anne. Yes, please.
Yeah, Maureen said a line which covers it all. Be your best self. That's just amazing. Thank you, Maureen. That's it.
Oh, thank you. I don't even remember saying that. I don't work with scripts.
I wrote it down. I've got it here.
Yeah.
I love it. And I like June. June, we love you so much, and we're so grateful that you every and I watch back. If I'm working late, I will have Wellbeing Wednesdays on in the background, and then I will get up and do the exercise, and then I'll get back to my computer. And not only on a Wednesday, throughout the week, through the dark nights, if I'm working till 2 o'clock in the morning to prepare a presentation or whatever, then Wellbeing Wednesday helps me through. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Maureen. Just before we run out of time, I'd like to introduce Robyn back again, because she is going to finish our session today and bring us back to our centre, I believe. Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you, and thank you everybody. I love Wellbeing Wednesdays too. Grateful to you all and everybody who joins as well. So you can stay seated, you might be happy to hear this one. So just coming back to ourselves now, coming back to the present moment, and we can do this in lots of different ways, but one of them is just feeling your feet on the ground again, like we did at the beginning. Feel the chair supporting your body. Notice where you can feel the sensations of the material on your skin, the sense of touch. Notice the sounds inside the room. Become aware of your sense of taste and smell. Become aware of the play of air around the face and the hands and any exposed parts of the body. Be fully here. Be fully present with yourselves. And then, of course, the breath. which is our anchor, and we can use this at any time, no matter where we are or what we're doing, and it can help in any situation that we find ourselves in. So focusing on the breath. Feel the cool sensations coming in through the nose, through the nostrils as you breathe in. The warmth of the breath as you breathe out, either through the nose or through the mouth. And just allowing that breath to be soft. Allowing it to drop down to the belly, the lower abdomen. And then I'm just going to read a quote going back to the lotus blossom and resilience. So just like the lotus, we too have the ability to rise from the mud, bloom out of the darkness, and radiate into the light, into the world. And just remember what Maureen said, and just say, I'm okay. Something so simple, yet so profound. I'm okay. And then let's rub our hands together. And just placing the palms of the hands just in front of the eyes, opening the eyes, and just letting the warmth of that energy coming from the hands, relaxing, soothing the eyes. And then let's have a shake out just to wake ourselves up again, especially if you've got something to do. Places to go, people to see. Just tapping their head just to wake up there. Just bringing that energy down. Give your kidneys a little rub as well around the back. Give your knees a little rub. Just dust yourself off, tuck yourselves in, and have a lovely, wonderful day and a wonderful week. And thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate you all.
Thank you, Robyn. Brilliant way to end our session. Thank you so much. And I apologise, but I was doing this and thinking of Bebo. Going back to my child self. But thank you, it's amazing as always. Thank you, June, thank you, Robyn, thank you, Maureen, for contributing this morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for finding us on Rumble and YouTube. We do repeat things just to keep you all reminded of the things we've discussed. And we are one big family. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you next week.